What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Powerhouse Mentality Podcast, as well as week 2 in the Powerhouse Reset. And tonight we're going to talk all about defining mental toughness and breaking through limiting beliefs. So last week, if you joined us, we spoke a little bit about how to really build momentum, how to celebrate small wins, and how to just get started, really, because I know that a lot of people here, it's a new year. So you have a lot of, I hate the word, but you have a lot of motivation, you have a lot of inspiration, and you have a lot of drive right now. And a lot of people say motivation is bullshit. And while I do agree with that, I also need to add a caveat that if you have motivation, if you feel inspired, take that motivation and run with it. Take it to build discipline, because discipline is what's going to be the thing that actually allows you to create the life that you want. Motivation won't do that. However, motivation can help start that. All right, so welcome to week 2. And last week, again, we spoke about celebrating small wins, but we also spoke about identifying excuses and how they hold us back from actually getting the progress that we want. And we're kind of going to caveat a little bit or tailor a little bit off of that. So today, we're going to focus on identifying and breaking through the limiting beliefs that are keeping us from bigger steps forward. Just like the excuses that we spoke about last week and that we identified last week, these beliefs are often deep-rooted and can really feel like they have complete control over you, when in all reality, you have the power, not them. And until you take that power back by identifying the limiting beliefs and overcoming them, you're going to remain stuck. So just like the small wins that we worked on last week, I want to start to challenge those limiting beliefs with you today and this week and moving forward, so you can build even more momentum, because that's what it's all about, right? It's about building momentum, because momentum is going to be the thing that catapults you to where you want to be. All right, so we have 3 goals for today during this live. We're going to define mental toughness in a practical way that you can understand, break it down. We are going to identify and overcome limiting beliefs that are holding you back. And then I'm also going to provide actionable steps to move closer to the mindset of a true powerhouse, right? Because you are in the Powerhouse Mentality group. You are a powerhouse, and we're going to continue to make you that. So first, let's define mental toughness, because I feel like that word is just kind of thrown around and nobody actually knows what it means. So mental toughness isn't about never feeling doubt or never feeling fear. It's about taking action despite those feelings. It's kind of like courage. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's taking action despite that fear. And that's kind of what mental toughness is. So if you are courageous, then you are mentally tough. And it's the ability for you to focus on long-term goals and push through discomfort and push through resistance. Because resistance, discomfort, those are our greatest teachers. Adversity, our greatest teachers. Without those things, we would not be able to become the person that we want to become. And what you have to understand is, through the most challenging times of your life, you build resiliency. You build resiliency to keep going. So, some of the key attributes of mental toughness. Resiliency is the biggest one. So, bouncing back after setbacks. Discipline is a huge one, and that's doing the work whether you feel like doing it or not. And then focus. So staying locked in when it really matters. So in order to build mental toughness, you can't just have resiliency, you can't just have discipline, you can't just have focus. You have to have resiliency, discipline, and focus. And these attributes aren't something that you're born with. People think like, oh, I'm just not built that way. You are, I promise. And that's a fixed mindset. Right? If you have a fixed mindset, then you think that the intelligence, the toughness that I have, that's just what I am. I can't grow it. Maybe I can grow it a little bit, but there's always a threshold when a growth mindset is one in which you believe that you can do whatever you want and you can grow your intelligence, you can grow your mental toughness, you can grow your discipline, your focus, you can grow all of these things to become bigger and better. So like I said, you're not born with them. They are skills that you build and skills that you must constantly sharpen or refine, kind of like an axe. But that doesn't always mean that you just work harder, right? Because just working harder isn't always the answer. It's about having focus and intent behind the work that you're doing. So one example, and this is like a little story from, I guess an analogy kind of, I don't know how to explain it, but it's a story that kind of helps to prove this, all right? So this is a story of two woodcutters, Peter and John, all right? They had a competition to see who could chop more wood in a day. And John went full speed ahead, thinking that the more that he worked, the better his chances were at winning. And that makes sense, right? But after an hour and every hour throughout that day, Peter stopped for 15 minutes to rest. And John just kept pushing through, thinking that he was ahead the whole time. But at the end of the day, to John's surprise, Peter had chopped more wood. And Peter explained that while John kept working nonstop, he was using his breaks, his 15 minutes, to sharpen his axe. So it's not just about working harder, it's about working smarter and having the right intent behind what you're doing. So the story highlights a crucial lesson that we often get so caught up in the hustle and the bustle of life that we forget to take time to sharpen our tools, whether it's our mind, our body, or any skill. So true success isn't about working harder. It's about working smarter, and taking time to renew and grow is just as important as putting in the effort. Now, you have to ask yourself, in any area of your life that you're trying to improve on, are you sharpening your axe, or are you just chopping away, just working your ass off with no intent or focus? And this story ties perfectly into the concept of limiting beliefs. Just like John kept pushing forward without taking a break to sharpen his axe, many of you guys keep pushing through life without ever challenging the beliefs that are holding you back. And these limiting beliefs are like dull axes. They stop us from performing at our best and achieving our full potential. And we often operate on autopilot, telling ourselves things like, I'm not good enough, I don't have the time, I'll never be successful, I'm too busy. And these beliefs prevent you from moving forward, just like you trying to chop the wood with a dull axe. So like Peter did, you have to take time to sharpen your tool. You have to take time to reframe and challenge these beliefs so you can start working smarter, not harder. So this all makes sense, right? But what is a limiting belief? Like, how do you know what is a limiting belief so that way you know what you need to sharpen in order to progress? Now, limiting beliefs are thoughts or narratives that convince you that you can't achieve something. And they often come from fear, past failures, or even external influences. So some examples of that would be, I don't have enough time to work on my goals. I'm not smart enough, strong enough, good enough to succeed. And if I try and fail, I'll look like a failure, and we fear failure so much that we don't take action. Now, why do these things hold us back, right? Because if we have these beliefs, why don't we just get over it, right? Well, the truth is they become self-fulfilling. What you believe, you act on or don't act on. And they prevent you from seeing opportunity for growth. So you stay in that fixed mindset because you're not seeing opportunity or growth, you're just seeing failures. So what we need to do is we need to reframe these limiting beliefs. And I did an entire podcast episode just on this, but I want to break it down again. Now, you need to recognize the belief. You need to challenge it with evidence, and you need to replace it with an empowering thought. So an example would be, I'm not strong enough to do this, and you reframe that to, I'm learning and growing and getting stronger every day. All right? And that's what I do every single day in my training. It's like, I am not strong enough to be a professional CrossFit athlete, but I'm learning and I'm growing stronger every single day, and I'll be damned that I would quit. So I want to give you guys a couple of action steps to take away from this Facebook Live, to take away from this podcast. Because in typical Powerhouse Mentality fashion, I'm not just going to give you the information. I'm going to allow you to apply it to your life. Because if you don't apply it, if you don't take action, it's not going to do anything. All right, so action number 1, there's going to be 2. Action number 1 is I want you to identify one area of your life where you have been holding yourself back. So ask yourself this: what's one area of life where fear or limiting beliefs are keeping you stuck? An example could be not speaking up, avoiding challenges, skipping the gym, etc. So write down one specific way that you're going to challenge this belief this week. So if you avoid hard workouts, commit to showing up and pushing through just one tough workout this week. And action number 2 is I want you to reframe these limiting beliefs. So ask yourself this: what are 3 beliefs that you know have been holding you back? And be honest. With both of these things, you have to be very honest with yourself, because most of the time we stay stuck because we refuse to be honest with ourselves because we don't want to face the truth because it's a little bit messy. But I'm telling you that if you face the truth, you will be able to earn results because the truth delivers results every single time. I tell this to my clients a lot. Tough love is love. Because without tough love, you're just going to do the same old shit and you're going to be not the person that you want to be. So, what are 3 beliefs that you know have been holding you back? An example, I don't have enough time. I'm not good enough to succeed. If I fail, I'll disappoint somebody else. Who the fuck cares, by the way? So for each belief, I want you to write an empowering truth that replaces it. So I don't have enough time. Replace it with, I make time for the things that matter most to me. So action number 1, identify one area where you've been holding yourself back. And then write down one specific way that you'll challenge that limiting belief this week. Action number 2, what are 3 beliefs that you know have been holding you back? And for each belief, write an empowering truth that replaces it. So let's recap the key points from this live today. Because again, I don't want you to just listen. I want you to take action. And if you don't remember what we spoke about, you're not going to take action. So 2 things to take away. Mental toughness is about pushing through discomfort and pushing through limiting beliefs. Number 2, you have the power to rewrite the narrative that you tell yourself. So this week, focus on challenging that one area where you've been holding yourself back and reframing those beliefs into truths that empower you, because growth happens on the other side of discomfort. And if you are watching this on the Facebook Live, or hey, if you're listening to this on the podcast, you want to shoot me an Instagram DM, or if you're in the Facebook group, do this. I want you to share your action item in the comments of this video in the group this week. I want you to share that action item, both of them. Let us know what you're working on so that way we can hold you accountable, because once you put it on the internet, it's a truth that you need to take action on, right? Because when we know somebody else knows, that's integrity at that point. We like that accountability. We like that support. And that's what this group is all about. It's about building each other up, making each other better, and making America mentally tough again. So guys, I hope that you enjoyed this live. I hope that you enjoyed the podcast. Please go out and do one thing today that's going to take you one step closer to where you want to be.